You're probably staring at a stack of dough balls that you've just rolled out and wondering if you're about to waste another hour of prep because the pieces aren't the same size. It's a frustrating spot. You don't want to throw money at a gadget that ends up gathering dust, but you also don't want to keep guessing whether the next batch will finally be spot on. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's dig into whether the VEVOR electric dough divider actually solves that problem for a bakery, a restaurant kitchen, or even a serious home baker. First off, the machine is built around a 20-piece stainless steel tray that slides onto a copper-wrapped motor. When you load your dough, the unit pushes each piece through a set of equal-size gates, delivering portions anywhere from a little over 2 ounces up to about 9 ounces. In practice, that means you can go from a single bulk loaf dough to perfectly measured pizza bases or cookie dough balls with just a few button presses. For a small bakery that needs consistent 8-ounce buns for a morning rush, the time saved can be noticeable. You're no longer hand-rolling and trimming each piece, which often adds up to 10 or 15 minutes per batch. The real-world benefit shows up most clearly in a busy restaurant line. Imagine a pizza shop that makes 30 dough balls every half hour. Manually portioning that amount is a juggling act, especially when the dough is sticky or slightly overproofed. With the VEVOR divider, you can load the tray, set the weight, and let the motor do the heavy lifting. The result is a uniform crust every time, which translates directly to consistent baking times and fewer customer complaints about uneven pies. The same logic applies to a bakery that produces a line of scones. Each piece ends up the same weight, so you avoid the some are too dense, some too light issue that can ruin a batch's texture. That said, the machine isn't a magic wand for every situation. The 20-piece capacity is a hard limit. You can't just dump an entire batch of dough and walk away. If you're running a high-volume operation that needs 100 pieces in one go, you'll end up cycling through the tray 5 times, which can interrupt workflow and add cleaning steps. The motor, while robust, does make a low hum that can be heard in a quiet kitchen, and the stainless steel tray needs to be wiped down after each use to prevent dough residue from hardening. For doughs that are extremely wet or heavily flour-coated, you might have to give the gates a quick brush between runs, otherwise the pieces can stick and jam the mechanism. Who should consider buying this? If you're a baker who regularly needs to portion dough in the 2 to 9 ounce range, think pizza dough, biscuit dough, cookie dough, or small loaves, and you do that at least a few times a week, the divider can shave off a tangible amount of prep time. It also appeals to food service operators who value consistency for branding reasons. A chain that promises same-size slices can actually deliver it with less guesswork. Even a serious home hobbyist who bakes weekend batches of bread and wants to experiment with different portion sizes will find the ability to set exact weights helpful, especially when trying out new recipes that require precise ratios. On the flip side, if you bake once a month, or you primarily work with very large loaves where the whole piece is baked as is, the cost and countertop space might not be justified. The unit also isn't ideal for extremely high throughput environments like industrial bakeries where automated conveyors and larger batch dividers dominate. And if you're looking for a gadget that will also need, shape, or proof dough, this device stays strictly in the divide lane. You'll still need separate equipment for those steps. From a durability standpoint, the stainless steel tray feels solid, and the copper motor casing gives the impression of a longer-lasting drive compared to cheap plastic alternatives. In everyday use, the machine handles repeated cycles without losing its calibration, which is a practical win because you won't have to re-zero the weight setting every time you switch dough types. The easy-to-use claim holds up. The control panel is a single dial and a start button, and the weight adjustment is done by turning a knob that clicks into place, so there's little chance of user error once you get the feel for it. The hidden trade-offs become clearer after a few weeks in the kitchen. The need to clean the tray after each run can be a small annoyance, especially if you're working with sticky doughs that leave a film on the metal. Some users have reported that the gates can become a bit sluggish if you don't dry the tray thoroughly before the next batch. That means the low-maintenance promise is realistic only if you incorporate a quick wipe down into your routine. Also, the unit's footprint is about the size of a small microwave, so you'll need a dedicated spot on your prep table or a shelf nearby. It's